Thoughtless, casual gaming. Thoughtless, casual gaming. Thoughtless, casual gaming. Thoughtless, casual gaming.
We're back, baby. Large as life and twice as ugly. Hello, you are listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming with Brett and Jace. We are an intermittent Geelong-based gaming podcast where we sometimes play games badly and then occasionally talk shit about them.
When you said intermittent, I don't know what you were going to go with, but I didn't. I thought it was going to be something like self-congratulatory, and I'm like, oh, I don't think we deserve that given.
No. No.
I'm also mildly concerned that you're fat shaming me given the larger-than-life commentary part too. But again, that's probably valid at this point in time, so I'll go with it.
Yeah. Look, it's been a while. It's been a while since Between Drinks. So, yeah, I got no reason for that.
No, we have zero excuses. We should just hang our heads in shame and... No, that's all I got. We should just do that. Hang.
That's it. I mean, since it's been a while, this is just going to be just sort of a catch-up episode, I believe. So we'll talk about some shit that we've done, usually badly.
I mean, definitely badly. That's not a given, but no, it is a given. That's right.
It's par for the course for us. But why don't we start it off? I mean, we used to start off every episode like this, but why don't we start off with a bit of a catch up for the last couple of weeks? What have you been buying? Anything, Jace?
I mean, I have. I have sold a lot more than I have bought in the last however long.
Is that going backwards or forwards?
Well, I'm still at a net loss with what I've spent, but no, I got a little bit, so it's slightly off track already. I got a little bit distracted a while ago when a couple of mates came down and we caught up with some old guys that I used to play music with, and have been chatting since then and got a little bit itchy and went, oh shit, I don't own an amplifier and I sold off a bunch of music equipment way back in the day, and I went, that's a bit shit. And so that's what's happened. I then went, right, well, I can't just afford to buy all this shit because it turns out that's expensive too because cheap hobbies just don't exist apparently. And so I sort of went through my collection and went, right, what am I actually not going to use? Let's try and rationalize a little bit and rob Peter to pay Paul. So I got rid of some Malifaux stuff and I got rid of some other stuff, some, Batman, some DC, some shit, I don't even know now.
You've still got some Batman, don't you?
No,
you got rid of it all.
Yep, bulk lot, cheap as chips. There it goes. I had like 3 or 4 people inquiring about it. It actually went pretty quickly.
Okay. I still want to play it one day.
Yeah, but I figure that day, and I got very, very angry with the resin.
Yeah.
So I was not upset about seeing them go. I got rid of some old Necromunda stuff, like First Ed Necromunda stuff.
Again, you've still got some though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good.
So
right.
this was literally just doubles of things that I owned, which was basically a whole gang. So. I did that, and as such, I've spent more than I sold on music equipment for the last amps and effects pedals and things.
Does this mean that you're going to redo the theme song?
It doesn't mean that. It doesn't.
I mean, you've got to use it.
I do, but I still need to buy more things for that to actually work. There's a few missing links.
So sell more stuff.
look, it's on the cards. There's still more stuff here. I'm looking at things that I need to offload. And
I
that's
should
without,
do that. I
that's,
really should.
it's not even going too deep down the rabbit hole. I could be a lot more harsh about this, and I've been pretty restrained, all things considered. So anyway, so that is the sale thread. In fact, if people are interested, come and talk. I have things, Kichitas wares if you have coin. But I have couldn't resist a couple of things. One is Grebo did a Kickstarter in the not too distant past for another one of their Cutimal teams. And I do appreciate a good Grebo Cutimal team. And I was torn, right? Because this was the dogs and cats two teams. So it was the corn, cats, and the, take your pick, but human dogs. And anyway, I struggled because I don't really own a human or an Old World Alliance or a nobility team or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. Or a dog team.
Yep.
I already own a corn team. And so I did like the cats, but I already owned a cat, but I did like the dogs too. And I went, when am I going to play humans? Oh, I can run them as nobility as well. Anywho, so I ended up going with the dogs. They showed up. They are very pretty. Grebo are 3D printing everything now.
That's a really quick turnaround too.
They had already started production when they put up the Kickstarter. Like, again, I feel like they've done enough of these that they know they know this is going to fly. Like, they know they're going to sell, so they just start it.
They've done all this before.
Yeah, not their first rodeo. And they're 3D printing everything now, and it's really good quality. Like, you can absolutely tell it's 3D printed, and if you get up super close, you can maybe see, depending on where the model is, where layers were or where supports are removed and stuff, but it is really not like you'd struggle to get that kind of quality. So they're doing a lot of really good things. You'd be happy with that if you just bought it off a shelf somewhere without a problem. So the dog showed up. I have since assembled is the wrong word because they're all one piece, which is fucking glorious. But I did
some cats that I've got lying around.
Oh, they're not one piece. They're teeny tiny. So I stuck them on bases, and then I stuck all the nameplates because they came with fancy little printed nameplates as well. And I figured that's probably a good thing for a team like this. So it's very clear what is what position. So
they're position nameplates and not like Fido or
it's not. It's not
Bluey.
Rover and they're position nameplates. So it's Blitzer and lineman and whatnot, right? And so I stuck all those on, and I went great. And then I came to the realization that the nameplates were for a human team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to run them as Imperial Nobility, you would need different nameplates that I didn't get with the Kickstarter. And now I have a dilemma. Because I have stuck the nameplates on the bases. It's already happened. I had that moment of realization. And then I went back to the Kickstarter. I went, I swear these guys were supposed to be able to run as Imperial Nobility. And what the hell is... Anyway, so the way this played out was in the human team, the catchers are the blitzers in the nobility team.
Wait, what?
So the models that they had for catchers in the human team are these adorable little collies. One's got a frisbee in his mouth. It's just kind of fun. But they are the blitzers in the nobility team if you run them as nobility.
Because blitzers have catch.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So it makes sense but it didn't make sense to me at the time. And so now, and then I had the dilemma around, okay, do I rip the nameplates off and put the nobility nameplates, or I would have to order the nobility nameplates or find some other ones, rip them off, stick the nobility ones on. Do I leave it as is? Do I order additional models and additional nameplates?
This is where they get
so I can do both. do I try and like magnetize name? But then I had the moments of in-game models flipping at each other and jumping across squares and nameplates coming off and sticking to other models, and it's just not ending well. So anyway, I have not delved down that rabbit hole any deeper. They are currently a human team. We will see if I get excited enough to do anything else. That was purchase number 1. Purchase number 2 was coercion.
Okay.
That was I got a random message on Discord not that long ago.
I know where this is going.
It's like, hey, the new Underworld Zinch warband, you definitely want that, don't you? Now, I had seen the warband and I went, oh, they're a bit fun. They're a bit pretty. That's a nice looking warband, and kind of filed that as a problem for later. And I sort of went, he's like, because I'm pre-ordering the box. So this was Moose, our good friend, maybe a current patron, I don't know, definitely Blood Bowl player, but Underworld's pusher.
He's like a crack dealer when it comes to Underworlds, isn't he?
It's funny because there's a couple of times sort of we've been at Throw the Dice. He's like, you want a game? I got teams. I got crews here. I got boards. I got everything we need. You just say when I set it up.
He's already crews in the car.
He's already pulling shit out of a bag. He's already laying tiles down and stuff. Anyway, he's like, because I want to pre-order it, but I only want the Stormcast, which confused me.
I don't understand that. Like,
no, that's the point.
Aren't there already like 17 other Stormcast crews?
Yeah, I don't pretend to understand. I did question his sanity at that point in time and asked if he was okay. Apparently, yes. I mean, you got to take these things at face value sometimes. And we got discussing, and I really not a serious Underworlds player at all. Went, look, I just want the models and kind of the probably the deck that comes with them. I don't care about the rest. He's like, that's good. I just want to get this past the Minister for War and Finance, and anything I can not own and say that I split costs is good. So I really hope Mrs. Moose doesn't listen to this. But doubtful. So he, through much coercion and, twisting of arms and whatnot, I now own the Zinch warband from the Underworlds box and the cards and the bunch of tokens for statuses I didn't know existed. And we talked about Rivals decks, and I went, well, realistically, I'm never playing this when you're not around anyway, so why don't you take all the stuff that you definitely want and I will just steal it from you as needed. And that was great.
Seems fair.
But that is probably about where I am at purchase-wise.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, that's 2 decent-sized things. So, Underworld's crew is always good. Blood Bowl team is always good.
There's no losing.
No.
And I have managed to rationalize my hoard of endless grey plastic, which there's a moral victory in there. I feel like
it's trying to reduce that amount of grey in your collection, isn't it? Which I'm still not getting good at. But yeah, we'll get done. I've been buying some toys because this is me. So random assortment of toys recently. I did get Whiplash for Masters of the Universe, the Origin series.
It was coming.
And I have 2 more which are waiting for me at work, which is Ratlaw and Trapjaw. But I'm umming and ahhing about it because I'm getting disheartened with the whole Origins line. Like, you remember Whiplash, right?
I do remember Whiplash. He whipped.
He
lashed.
Exactly. It's in the name, people.
He spun his little torso and he flicked back and his little tail was rubbery and it flicked out. It was the best.
Yes. No, on the back of the card for Whiplash, it's like you can move him so that he lashes and whips.
So there's no spring.
There's no spring. No, which was very disappointing. And then I got very excited when Ratlaw came in, and he used to have a little button on the back which you push, and his head popped up.
That's right.
And he rattles and makes a noise because he's a rattlesnake, right?
Makes perfect sense. It's
Yes.
original naming 101.
Yes. This one still rattles, but his head doesn't pop up. He just comes with an extendable neck, which you just take his head off, stick the neck on, and stick the. It's frustrating.
Next they're going to do Battle Damage He-Man, where you just put a little cover over his chest and it changes. It looks a little bit more broken. Like, if it's not doing that little rolly barrel thing where you hit it and it gets more broken, I'm not fucking interested.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still chasing these ones that I used to have as a kid, but
they're going to do Cobra Khan and they're going to give it to him and just tell you to spit water at people.
He doesn't spit water. They've done him. He doesn't spit water. It's like
But if you hold him and you spit water at people, it counts.
Yes, it is a fun game for all involved. Especially in this day and age. The Cobra Khan just comes with like a thing that you stick in his mouth so it looks like he's spitting. But no water comes out. Anyway, I still want to get the ones I had as a kid, but like the nostalgia's there for the old ones now, less so for the Origins ones, which is a shame. Yeah. Bought a couple other things. So I bought a couple of pop vinyls, and I bought these cute little crow figurines models, which are pretty cool.
They are very cool.
Yeah.
Are we getting a new Crow movie? Is that happening?
God, I hope not. I really hope not. The first one was so good. The sequels were so not so good. It's just, don't redo it. Don't remake it. Don't make it the same story if you're going to do a Crow film, please. Because just let Brandon rest. Nobody can do better. Anyway, that was about it for real purchases. No, I lie completely. I did have a Kickstarter come in though. So the DC deck building game, which I've got quite a few of those things, did a 10th anniversary Kickstarter last year. And that came in. And it came in a very large box. So I was like, I don't remember him being this big. But part of the Kickstarter, which I'd totally forgotten because it was last year and hadn't paid that much attention.
I mean, that's half the joy of Kickstarter, though, let's be honest.
But part of the Kickstarter was this huge organizational box that you could fit all of the cards in.
Ooh.
Well sleeved and everything. It comes with little dividers for all the little expansions that you might or might not have purchased. It tends to be more might in my case. But I spent a good amount of time putting them all together. And the latest one, the one that was the 10th anniversary one, is Injustice. So that looks exciting. Plus it also has the DC Bombshells as a little expansion as well, which is cool.
That is genius, though, on Kickstarter, just for like, here is a thing that you definitely need. The organization, like if they brought one of those out for Marvel United.
Yeah.
Sign me up. just shut up and take my money. That's genius. All right. So at some stage we'll have to play that again.
Yes, definitely. It's all organized. It's all in this little box. It's not.
Are we allowed to take it out? Like,
yes.
It's organized.
No. I have it organized in a way that I can reorganize after. So it's fine.
It's half the joy, just reorganizing.
The other thing I want to mention too is that we did the draw for our last month giveaway. So I gave away the Masters of the Universe board game and did the draw live on Twitch. A couple of people jumped in. We had quite a few viewers for that one. It was good.
It was a good one.
But Mal and Kenny both jumped in. And Kenny ended up winning, which was in the absolute perfect timing. He got hit by an ad break from Twitch when I spun the wheel. So he didn't actually see his name pop up until the ads
came
finished.
Back and he was so confused. It was the best.
But Mal and I were talking because Mal is starting up the Alien role-playing game,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that has intrigued me for quite some time and has managed to find a spot for me, which is really cool. So hopefully I'll be playing that shortly at some point.
So you get to be the alien?
No, that's the GM's role, or the, what they call it, mother, I think, which is really cool. But I was looking at it, and it comes with some dice, right? And the dice are just standard 6-sided dice, but they look very alien-like. And you have to have 2 different colors. You have to have one which is your standard dice and one which is your stress dice. And on the ones for the stress dice, they also have a picture of a face hugger. And then I looked at work and I saw the starter box for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want the dice. And this comes with like all of the dice. And then I worked out that it was the same price for me to buy the starter box, which comes with like the basic rules and everything you need, plus the 20 dice, as it was for me to purchase the 20 dice by themselves.
Well, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I know. So I ended up buying that too.
So as somebody with no brain, that's what I did.
That's me. That's me. I'm a person like me. Last for purchases, though, is last week. It was May the 4th.
Twas
Indeed. And for some reason, for some stupid reason, the local toy shop near work was doing 20% off all Star Wars items.
I mean, aren't you the local toy shop near work? Like
I'm a professional shop, not a toy shop. I'm a collectible shop.
That's what I said.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But there are some things that we don't sell. One of which is Lego.
I see how that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So I ended up walking in there and walking out with 2 Star Wars diorama sets that had just come out. So the Endor Speeder Chase and the Emperor's Throne Room, both from Return of the Jedi. And as I was there, I saw another box behind the counter that wasn't on the shelf. And so curiously, I had a look online to see what this box exactly was. And it was a miniature version of the Executor, the Star Destroyer that Vader is in command of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 20% off. So I wandered back. So I've got 3 new Lego sets, which is great because I haven't had any Lego for ages. And one of them is fully complete. The other 2 I have still to start, and I'm trying to.
It's the speeder
hold
that's
off.
done. It's the
speeders are done.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've still got the Executor and the Throne Room to do. So that's going to do me for some time, especially if I'm good and manage to sort of space them out a little bit. Because I've got the Lego dioramas for Star Wars. They did 3, and they technically did 1 before they did the 3. So it wasn't exactly a diorama, but it's laid out in the same sort of way and has the same sort of base. And so I've got all 4 of those. So I had to get these 2. I just had to.
I mean, it was destiny.
It was. And it was 20% off.
20% off Destiny. That's a bug.
I know, right? But that's it for buying for me. I'm going to pull the plug there. I have not. I mean, I'm sure I've bought other things, but I shouldn't have.
Ears may be listening. I have not purchased anything else. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Moving along.
Yes.
Have you been watching anything?
Look, bits and shits. And I started going, what the hell have I watched? And then it took me a while, and then it all started coming back to me.
According to Discord, you've been watching My Little Pony.
That is a banger of a movie, and I won't hear anyone say otherwise. So the soundtrack is amazing. Anyway, so this is where this came from, and this will tie back into the what have you been painting thing. But anyway, when I rolled up my entry for the Throw the Dice Reaper paint comp, I got a little unicorn, and that was my entry. And I'm like, what the shit am I going to do with this unicorn? But I have
paint it.
Yes,
Okay.
but more specifically,
With paint.
yes. Which paint? There's a lot. I'm looking at a lot of paint right now. But I have a 5-year-old daughter, right? So my Netflix, like my Spotify playlists now, are a little bit like, wow, I get some really interesting suggested playlists. But one of the things that we discovered on, I think it was Netflix, was it was a My Little Pony movie, but it was like new generation My Little Pony. It's called Friend. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It is bloody glorious. So the whole premise of this movie is that um, she's a pony. I can't remember her name. It's not important, right? But unicorns and Pegasus and everything, that they all separated. They've all gone their own ways. They don't speak. They're all terrified of each other.
So it's a My Little Pony film about racism.
Yes,
Okay,
it's so
gotcha.
good. And then this little Sunny, that's her name, goes on a little bit of a quest to reunite everybody, and they get great. But the soundtrack is banging. So there's one there. There's a whole song about just propaganda. It's called Danger Danger. It's basically written to the tune of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's enough that they don't get copyright infringed, but it smells like Teen Spirit. It's about propaganda, and it's this little kind of bully horse who's taken over the military, wearing like military caps and arm badges and stuff, telling people that they need to panic and don't think and just follow his instructions, and everything will be fine.
What the fuck?
It's so good. And it is absolutely appropriate for a 5-year-old. I checked. But so many underlying, it's glorious. Highly recommended.
How many times have you watched it without your daughter?
Look, when you say without my daughter, she's at least been home.
This might be in another room.
She loses interest and I don't. I'm going to go play Barbie's dad. I'm like, you do that. I'm watching My Little Pony. We're going to put on a movie, Charlie. What do you want? You're watching My Little Pony. No, I don't. I want to watch Elsa. We're watching My Little Pony. Anyhow, it's a banger. What have I actually watched that's relevant? I did take your recommendation and watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, whatever it was called.
Yep. Thoughts?
That was a more wild ride than I expected.
Yeah, I know. Hot dogs.
Just the piece that I still don't fully understand is this concept of having to do something unexpected and random to jump multiversal type things.
I'm guessing it's because it was unexpected and random.
Yeah,
it's not something you do normally. I don't know.
But yes, it was good. Like I had absolute belly laughs at times. Like it did all the right things, but it was just a little bit more than I expected in every way.
And how about? I'm trying to remember how they say it. Rakakuni. The raccoon.
Oh yes. I'm glad I watched it. There were moments there where I wondered why I was watching it, but I'm definitely glad I watched it by the end of it. Is the moral of the story. I also did sneak away to the movies one night. Yeah, we managed to get the kids to sleep over with grandparents, and we went and caught a movie, and it was great. And we had plans because we'd also organised for a babysitter the night before. So we were going to double dip and do 2 movies in a row.
Uh-huh.
And then Kate got sick and we didn't make the second one. But yeah, it was a wonderful dream. So we did, the plan was to do Mario Brothers and then Dungeons & Dragons, Legend Among Thieves. So we only got the first half of that. We did see Mario Brothers. And that is fun. I don't know how people would do if they didn't have the nostalgia thing. Like if you didn't already get the joke.
My kids loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they don't have the nostalgia. But then they're kids, so what do they know?
So I feel like well, there's that too, right? But I feel like it is bright and fun and amusing, and stuff happens, and there's loud noises. So kids, yes, absolutely. But there is probably a generation in there somewhere that's going, "What the shit is this?" But also, like it's great in that Chris Pratt as Mario.
Mm-hmm.
They explain why he doesn't have an accent. Like they do that because
Okay.
he doesn't do the accent the whole way.
That's probably a good thing.
It was definitely a good thing, but they give you a reason for it, which was glorious. I think Jack Black as Bowser was maybe a little bit much, just a little bit much. Like he Jack Blacked it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He has a song in the middle of it.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
But if you have played any of the Mario franchises, literally any of them, there are references, and it is glorious. And they do all the right things. It is the right level of fun. We left the movies and Googled how much it was to buy a Switch.
Yep.
So and then we checked whether Kmart was still open and had them in stock. They did not have them in stock, and that's why I don't own a Switch.
But it was a close call.
It was touch and go for a little bit there. If they had, we probably would have owned one right now. That's where that landed. So we did see Mario Brothers. I randomly watched the other night. I just started something to have something on, and then I watched the whole movie, and it was the second, because I hadn't seen it, the second Fantastic Beasts movie.
Okay. Yep.
Had not seen. Now I've seen it. That's about it.
Right.
Now I've seen it.
I haven't seen either of, or however many.
first-
I don't know
think-
how many there are.
There's only two that I know of. I think the first one is it introduces the concept, so it's the new shiny thing.
Yep.
I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with the second one. It was like I sat through the whole thing, which it was fine. I went, yeah, that was good at the end of it, but that's probably about as far as I would take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have been frustratingly, and I was really trying not to get back to this stage, but I am now at the point where I've watched everything. I'm doing the week by week releases of Ted Lasso, the latest season of Ted Lasso. I caught up, and now I've got to wait till next Wednesday to watch the next episode, and that is the worst thing in the world.
It's meant to be the last season too, isn't it?
And it is just bloody lovely. Like there is something in every single episode that gives you a grand old chuckle. Generally, you don't see coming, and it could be from literally any character, which I really like. But it's just all of the gnaw moments as well. Like it's nice, it's wholesome, it's you feel lovely, and you have a good chuckle, and there's still plenty of swearing. So everybody wins. That's pretty much me, I think. Until you say something, I'll be like, oh yeah, I watched that too.
All right, well, let's give it a go. Actually, I hope you haven't seen much of the stuff I've seen.
I probably haven't, to be fair.
I've been going through a couple of documentaries recently.
I absolutely have not.
The one that sticks out in my brain, and I've been telling a few people about this, it's called Evil Genius. It's on Netflix. And it's about a bank heist that happened in America. And basically what happened is this guy strolled into a bank with a cane, which ended up being a gun, like a cane gun.
As you do, because America.
Yeah.
Cool.
But also walked in wearing a collar around his neck with a bomb on it, a la Running Man type thing, right? Casually handed them a note asking for cash, strolled out doing a Charlie Chaplin, swinging the cane around, was cornered by police a couple of blocks away. Very cooperative, acting, very coolly and very calmly. and was handcuffed on his knees in a car park. And was like cooperating and like I said, very calm and collected until he realized that the bomb was actually going to go off and wasn't, I believe, I don't know whether he thought it was a fake or something. But yes, the bomb went off. And it didn't explode as much as it was expected to.
Fuck.
Definitely didn't leave much of this guy's head left.
Yeah, okay.
And police found out that he was on a scavenger hunt to find the keys to remove the collar.
That is proper Saw material.
I know, right? I know. And this actually happened.
That is fucking terrifying.
And so, yeah, there's a couple of episodes where they're trying to work out what the hell is going on and who's responsible, and whether this guy who was a pizza delivery driver was involved, and like it was really interesting. Anyway, there was that. I also found a show on Netflix which is called King of Collectibles.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's basically like a porn stars, comic book man, that's type of show, but to do with a high-end auction site in the States that deals with collectible stuff. So like Pokemon cards and NBA cards and stuff like that. That was really interesting. They ended up selling like a one of a kind NBA card for like 2.4 million.
Bloody hell.
I know, right?
The thing that gets me is like, you're like, oh, it's one of a kind, it's worth that much, but somebody paid.
2.4 million for it. Oh dear. TV shows, nothing really to talk about. I did watch Mando season 3.
I should do that.
It's okay. It's not what it used to be. It's not season 1.
I mean, it was never going to be season 1.
It kind of feels like it's like one of those TV shows that you kind of, for a lot of it, you don't even need to have seen the previous episodes. It's like, Mando goes here, something happens. How's he going to get out of this one? All right, cool. And then reset for next episode sort of thing, almost. I mean, there's ongoing things going through it, but it's...
Okay, it's a little bit less storyline and a little bit more, hey, we did stuff here and then we did stuff over there.
Yeah.
Side questy.
Yeah, it was, I mean, even more so than season 2 was, I think. And then I've watched a couple of films. Yeah. Probably shouldn't have.
I told you, get off Pornhub.
I watched Monster Hunter.
I keep getting the, hey, recommended viewing kind of trailer things.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It took me 3 times to get through. Like, I stopped and started it 3 times. And my God, it was atrocious. I also watched Hellboy. And as pretty as that was and as violent as that was...
That's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not as good as the Ron Perlman stuff. But the special effects and the fights and stuff were pretty cool.
Okay.
Because currently I am sitting in a house with one person in the front room who has tested positive in the last couple of days for COVID.
Yay.
I sat down and watched Contagion.
Oh, that was an error.
I'm like, let's see how much they got right. And they got a lot right. They got a lot right.
I watched Contagion for scientific purposes.
Yeah. Yes. And the only other one really worth mentioning is I watched a film called The Guilty with Mr. Donnie Darko in it.
Yes.
And he's basically answering 911 calls. And it was heavier than I expected.
Okay.
Like emotionally. I actually enjoyed it. So out of the 4 movies, that was the highlight for sure. Quite good. I do like his acting, but there was a lot of there were twists and turns, and some of the twists you could see coming, and some of them you couldn't. And it was, yeah, like I said, it was emotional. It was a bit heavy, which was good. It was good heavy. But that's my watching.
There is a real mixed bag in there, isn't there?
I know, right? I keep turning on these bloody Netflix or Prime or Disney or whatever, trying to find something that I can put on in the background.
Mhm.
And I haven't come across anything recently, because either I want to keep watching it and pay attention to that, or it's just boring the crap out of me. So I haven't found that happy medium where maybe I need to go back and watch Battlestar again. Who knows?
That feels like the default go-to, right?
I know, right? It's been about 2 years.
Someone made a reference at work the other day. Actually, it might have even been Dylan. And they're like, "Oh, do you like Futurama?" I'm like, "I haven't watched Futurama for I don't know how long."
I started that again a while ago. That could be the one. That's a good idea.
Thing.
That's all on Disney.
Yeah, the other one, I haven't watched in forever, and it's probably aged terribly, but it was never good to begin with, is Red Dwarf.
Ooh. Now, where would that be?
I mean, on Betamax.
No, I mean, it'd be on, what is it, the BritBox?
The BBC one or whatever it is, yeah.
But Blackadder's on something. What is Blackadder on? I think that's on Prime.
Potentially.
Maybe.
There's
Worth investigating.
Yeah, I think there's some options.
Hmm.
I could do a Futurama marathon. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Xbox games. You've been playing anything?
I've been playing an Xbox game.
Is it Blood Bowl?
Yeah. And then I finished the campaign and went, I'm kind of done with this until they make it better. And then I stopped. Because I feel like playing against the AI, which is terrible.
Yes,
but
it really is.
I had the campaign to complete, so I just let's just push through and do the thing. But I feel like that only inflicts the pain on me. If I have to share that pain with someone else, it's not halved, it's doubled. And I don't want to be responsible for that. So I haven't.
Yeah, fair.
That's it.
All right,
Your turn.
that's fair. I haven't done much, I will say. The only game that I have played recently, I had a on Saturday. It was the last Saturday that I'm going to have off for a while, so I'm doing the next couple of weekends at work. So working the next couple of Saturdays. So I planned it all, and we ended up having a daddy-daughter date.
Aww.
So we got a list of a few things that we wanted to try out. So we just, did a lot of that sort of stuff. And she had a great time. The first place we tried was the library. Because I haven't been to the Geelong Library.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's not quiet. It's no longer, it's the whole sit still and just borrow a book and leave thing. It's cool.
I mean, we started off doing Lego at the library. And then we moved on to Just Dance on the Xbox. So Caitlin had a lot of fun with that.
You busted a move and then busted a hip. Yep. Continue.
No. I mean, I've got some very awkward videos of, the wrap-ups of myself and Caitlin dancing.
We need to talk about OnlyFans content.
Oh, there's a good idea. But what I found is, I was like thinking about this, because I was a PlayStation person at the start. I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the PlayStation 3, but before the 3 came out, I'd moved on.
Mm-hmm.
I got the 360, the Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox X, or whatever the fuck it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
But my Series 1 has been playing up for a while. And I figure it's the battery pack.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to get a new power cord or something for it. But I fiddled around with it the other day and plugged it in, and it started working again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got the Kinect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, maybe I'll just pick up Just Dance and let the kids.
Well,
burn a bit off that way.
This was half of my argument about getting a Switch. Like, this was the justification that we told ourselves, because we like, you've got a lot of those Wii Sports style,
hmm
and I'm like, those kind of games where it is a little bit less sit there, fine motor skill, and a little bit more, swing your arms at shit or dance around the room like an idiot. Sign me up. Kids are in for that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, they are. And Caitlin's been very eager for Just Dance, and I think it's like the 2022 version is like $20 at the moment. Not even that. I was very disappointed to find out that the old 360 game, which I have, is not backwards compatible on the one, which is the Star Wars Connect, which has dancing to songs that have Star Wars lyrics and also running around as a Rancor, which is a shame, but whatever. Xbox wise, that's pretty much it, but I have played a shitload of Snap recently.
Oh, there's a lot of Snap. That's the thing that's going on. It's I have 4 minutes until this meeting starts. What am I going to do?
What are you playing at the moment?
Probably there's 3 decks I'm really cycling between.
Mm-hmm.
There's the null, death, stuff that murders each other.
Yep.
Deck. That is pretty solid. It just does exactly what it does. It works. Until they do bloody, Wakanda as the featured.
You got to work around the featured locations, don't
Featured location, rude. There's just a vanilla buff deck where it's Patriot, Mystique, Blue Marvel, and then a whole bunch of stuff that does nothing. And then if you don't play anything else, you bang Ultron in at the bottom and you get an automatic 24 at every location. And then Lock Thor, my Lockjaw Thor list, I've had to kind of play with because they nerfed Lockjaw on me, which was very upsetting.
I've got the nullified Thor sitting pinned in my store at the moment. Just can't work out if I can justify spending 5,000 tokens on it. I'm
still 200 away from Nimrod, which is making me very angry because all my collectors ones are coming up with shit I don't care for. Variants I don't need and things.
Nimrod is fun.
Yeah.
I do have a deck with Nimrod. It's got so many outs. So you just sort of play to what you draw. But Shuri, Wong, Zabu, Nimrod, Zola, Black Panther, Destroyer.
Yeah. I did put together something, so I don't have Shuri, which is irritating, but beyond that, I went, Destroyer. That seems like a genius move. It doesn't have Nimrod in it, which feels like it's missing. But then I realized if you Zola Destroyer, he destroys himself, and that doesn't actually work for you unless he goes to somewhere that you've chucked an armor in or something. Anyway, things you learn. And then if you put Destroyer on Bar Sinister, that also doesn't work so well.
No, that's fair.
Things I'm learning.
Destroyer on Wong works. I don't know if you tried that, but Wong, even though you destroy Wong on the first Destroyer, he still goes twice.
Ooh.
So when you got Nimrod.
Yeah. Okay. That is good to know. I did back to, so I did have struggle. I didn't realize that they changed Lockjaw. I didn't read the release notes and everything. And then all of a sudden he's just stopped doing what he was supposed to do. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I reread the text and now I get it. He only does the first one that you play every turn, which is fine, I guess. But I did discover if you put Beast in that deck, you play Thor, you get a Mjolnir. You play Beast, you return Thor. You play Thor, you get a second Mjolnir. So we're starting to do this kind of fun.
Look, the changes that they made recently, they did slightly buff Collector. I don't know if you saw that, but Collector's gone from 2-1 to 2-2. Collector in a discard deck is so fucking good. So you play like this. I've been playing this a bit, but like Collector or Morbius, turn 2. Turn 3, the other one, right? Turn 4, you're probably hitting like either maybe a Lady Sif or Colleen.
Yeah.
And if you can get it on Colleen, right? So Colleen to discard Swarm,
Yep.
which then creates 2 swarms in your hand,
Yep.
which then buffs Collector twice.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Oh, and then you just bash the shit out of Swarm.
Yep. Apocalypse. When he gets discarded and comes back,
Yep.
that's another one for Collector.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 5 Modok.
Everybody.
Yeah, I have had a game or two where Modok has fast forwarded because I've had like a handful of swarms and Apocalypse, and they just keep getting discarded. And yeah, I've gotten Collector
He
and
only
Morbius over 20 power easy.
He only does each swarm once, though, doesn't he? Because I
Who
feel like
Collector?
Modok when you
Modok. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he does each swarm once, but
Yes,
if you like if you've already discarded him with Colleen, right? So that's
Yeah.
2. So you're getting
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
And I think I got the location where on reveals happened twice once.
Oh yes, sign me up for Onslaught Citadel.
Oh yeah. So
It's ongoing.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Hermitage.
Yeah. The other one I've been playing and really enjoying is a ramp deck. And I've been having so much fun with this because people snap without thinking. So most likely I'm looking at sort of Nebula turn 1, turn 2 either Armor or Daredevil or that's it. Turn 3 either Electro or Psylocke.
Yep.
Turn 4 Professor X.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people catch me with the Professor X.
Professor X turn 4 catches a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what gets them better is they see, so you've got Electro out and you Professor X and you've got 5 power, right?
Yeah.
They might have 6.
Mm-hmm.
And they see you've got Electro out, so you're only playing 1 card per turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll snap.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn 6, you play a 5-cost card like Gamora.
Yep.
Or Hobgoblin. And you play Jeff. Jeff onto Professor X.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It catches so many people off guard.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic. I have won so many cubes doing that because people think, oh, you've lost that by 1 or 2. I've got that one by 1 or 2. I just need to focus on 1 more.
Yeah.
And because Jeff doesn't get affected by Electro either.
I haven't had anyone catch me with Jeff yet. So I don't have a Jeff, but no one's got me with him. But also since we got reset since the last season, I've kind of been messing with decks and not really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of up there, down 2, up 3, down 5.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hovering at the moment, but
I tend to muck around with decks when I've hit that sort of next level. So as soon as you hit like a level 10, you go up to level 15.
Yeah.
Then you got 5 levels to play with. You can sort of piss fart around. But I hit the magic number today, so I am now level 69.
Now it's how can we keep it stay there?
Yes. Can't play anymore.
No, because you still move. I don't know how that works, but it's still it's still somehow.
Oh, if you don't play, your level won't change until the season resets. And then you drop down 30 levels, whatever.
Yeah.
Anywho, I suppose we should talk hobby.
I mean, it turns out this is a hobby podcast, sort of.
Yeah, to a degree.
Sometimes.
Yeah. We've talked gaming, so we've stuck to the...
That counts.
Yeah.
So hobby.
Yeah.
And when you say hobby...
There's not an awful lot I've got.
No, and I have actually been in that awkward spot where you kind of like... I don't know whether it's me. I think it's actually quite a few people because a lot of people I've spoken to have been in a similar boat where you're just like, I just haven't been painting. I haven't been doing stuff. Like occasionally you sort of tinker with something and whatnot, but just haven't really been able to sink the teeth into something and just power through. And I'm looking at a desk that really does explain the mindset I'm currently in, where I've got about 14 projects strewn.
Yep.
And it's that point now where you sit down and you go, oh, no, this is all too hard. And you do
What's
something
on
else.
TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of that. Last night, I did sit down. So the throw the dice paint comp
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Yep.
I had base coated the model for that. And then I went, right, this needs a base. And I had kind of plans on a base and everything. And then I miscalculated the size of the base.
Okay.
And then the model didn't fit on the base. And that's the point where I stopped, because I took my bat and ball and went home. So that's basically why it didn't get done for the competition. And then somebody posted in the Discord expressing their extreme disappointment. I think that was an Alice and Samara one too.
That was definitely a Samara thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was sitting here last night procrastinating around, and it was sitting here, and I'm like, this actually won't take that long just to paint him. If I don't do the base, if I don't do anything special, if I just put paint on model, he's already base coated. So I did that last night. That was a thing.
So your throw the dice entry is done?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
a week after it was decided.
Speaking of which, we had quite a few of our Discord members walk away with stuff from that.
There was some fantastic
So
stuff.
if I remember correctly, Kingsley, Clinton, Alice, and Samara all got votes for that. I didn't. Don't know what's going on there, but whatever.
Oh, man.
Maybe he looked at the paint job. I gave up on mine after a while and just poured glitter on it.
See, if Alice was the judge, it would have been all different. But
oh, look, I was hoping that Ollie would do it. Go for the glitter. Look, it was a pile of gold. My little dragon was sitting on a pile of gold.
It actually made sense, and it was a surprisingly appropriate sized glitter for gold coins for a dragon of that size. I don't know how you found.
I was very particular with the $2 I spent on glitter.
It worked. But no, there was some pretty, and Clinton did his first real kind of resin pour.
Yeah, I need to question him on that, because I still have your resin and I still need to do some resin pouring.
He stole my other resin. So
okay.
If you want to do pouring like that, steal the one that I gave him.
I just want to know how to stop it pouring over the sides.
Yes, that is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did manage to paint a unicorn last night. That got finished enough. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. She's just going to sit there now. So anyway, that's Izzy Moonbow, my other My Little Pony reference. What else have I done painting wise? Oh, look, because this has been a while since we've talked, I could delve deep into the depths. Like, I did more of the Renegades at some point before the season ended. They didn't get finished, but the season ended, so they're probably not going to get finished. I did. So there was talk before Rich pulled the pin on All Systems Go this year, which I get. It was rough organizing a convention at best of times. There was the talk of a Blood Bowl tournament at All Systems Go that we weren't going to run, which was very exciting, and I got all kinds of excited about putting a team together for that. So I did bust out my Grebo Slan team that was sitting in a box, and I spent a couple of nights swearing at them, because it's the metal Grebo Slan team.
I knew where that was going before you said it. Yeah,
came unassembled, and I was very angry. But they are now assembled, and then All Systems Go got cancelled, and we haven't heard about a Blood Bowl tournament. So that is where they've stayed.
Yep, that's fair.
What else? I tinkered a little bit with a couple of models for Underworlds, and then I put them away. I did get a bit excited, so doesn't sound like me at all.
No.
Rich announced a Warhammer 6th edition day.
Every time 6th edition comes up, you get a little bit excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get more excited if it was 7th, but, I can't hold that against him. So, yes, and this is a continuing factor, which must mean it's a thing, right? Every time someone says, I'm like, oh, I'm interested. It is the week after Thoughtless Bowl 4.
Okay.
So the chances of me actually getting a leave pass to partake are slim. However, if I don't ask, then it's currently Schrodinger's day.
You could always say that you need to take me. I need a lift in.
I don't think that explains the entire day of absence.
Well, you have to drive me home.
Yeah, I like where you're headed. I feel like
I know, just a thought.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be there. I'll be in Perth, but continue.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I got excited about this. I started chatting to a couple of friends that have signed up already and are working out what the hell they're going to do. I similarly, coincidentally more than anything, had a couple of friends I used to game with just in our Facebook chat go, we started painting, we played a game and then we started painting some stuff. So they've started painting some stuff completely unrelated to this whole thing for Warhammer sort of 6th edition-ish. And it is one of those games that I have had projects on hiatus since 8th edition came out or Age of Sigmar came out and trashed the whole bloody game. So some idiot decided it would be a great idea, and this actually wasn't me, but someone else went, well, let's try and keep each other doing some hobby and motivated and stuff. So if we put together a bit of a May painting challenge, if you've got this thing in June, 1,000 points is not impossible. Just paint 1,000 points in May. And so we'll see if that happens. I mean, there's zero stakes, but I did. So I had a hobby. I had a project, an army project I was planning on when Age of Sigmar happened and destroyed the entire game. Yes, that's what it did. And if anyone wants to tell me otherwise, I will fight you. But so for Warhammer 8th edition, I had just finished my Nurgle Beastman. And that was kind of my project. And then as I was kind of playing that army over the year, I had been collecting stuff for my next army project, which was going to be the next year. And then the next year didn't happen. And that was my Khorne Orc army. The Corks. And
so is there progress happening?
There is actually progress happening. Ooh. One of the things I'd been stuck on for God knows how long is I had this idea for a giant.
Okay.
The standard everyday Warhammer giant.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to give him an orc and goblin kind of feel. And I happened to have one of the goblin Arachnarok spider kits, which is the giant spider with all the goblins. It's cool. That thing comes on a 150 by 100 base, though.
Okay.
The giant is on a 50 by 75 base.
Okay.
So there is a minor disparity between model size and base size that I've been trying to, because I want to run him as a giant. And so what I want is a giant spider centaur.
On half the base that he comes with.
Yes. And that has been my conundrum. And so I said, fuck it the other day, and I pulled the spider out, and I pulled the giant out, and I started just smushing them together to see what I could cram him on. And I reckon...
Rear him up on his hind legs or something?
That was thought number 2. Thought number 1 is I'm wondering if I can somehow suspend him from above the base, like he's coming down on a web.
What if you did him the other way? So, like, instead of You just put the giant legs and the spider on top.
Yeah, I see what you've done there. That's a terrible idea, and we're definitely not going to do it.
Like a centaur with a man with a
Yep.
horse's head.
Like a reverse centaur.
A reverse mermaid.
Yeah. I mean, infinitely more practical, but so anyway, no, I think I can do it. I'm almost going to do it the other way. I'm going to try and have him. I'm going to have to somehow use his front spidery legs to anchor him to the base,
Mhm.
but I want to try and almost have him coming off a web from above the base. So
Yep.
he's like that. That's currently plan A, and we'll see how badly that fails. So I've gone through about 20 centimeters of green stuff. Just
Making the web.
just attaching a giant to a spider. Like we're currently here.
That's okay. Yeah. Yep.
So that
I see.
that's where we're
That's huge. That's
at. Yeah, and I mean,
pictures are in the Discord, people. If visual medium on a
Doesn't work,
podcast doesn't work, but join the Discord.
no. So we've started, but he's large. So that's the other thing. And look, there's a bunch of other stuff I've got sitting half finished in boxes, in places I need to find. I haven't actually worked out a list that I'm 100% happy with, so we'll see where this goes. But there's
Work in progress.
There's potential.
I get you.
So but that's it. That's kind of I've kind of just potted between projects and not actually done anything.
Yeah, I've kind of done the same. I mean, I haven't done an awful lot of painting. I did throw the dragon together for Throw the Dice, and I have done a little bit more work on my Lizardman team for Blood Bowl, so they've got a couple more colours on them. I'm trying to work out the sevens half of the Lizardman team has a bit more colour on it than the other half, but trying to work out if I'm going to play them in 11s or not. But I've acquired some more models, so mainly from you.
Oh yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, okay, it's all your fault. So I've got the Bloodspawn that you printed off for me.
Mm-hmm.
He is on base and he has the little bubbles, so I'm just going to undercoat him and he should be a quick and easy paint job just to get to the same standard of the rest of the Corn team I've got, which is black and white and red with blood on the base. You also printed off for me those beautiful Alice models.
They are pretty.
They are gorgeous. So I have glued most of them together. The rabbit, I don't think I'm going to bother with the little watch chain, which is just tiny.
I know. I was so impressed I didn't break that,
Yes.
though. I will say removing supports from that was mildly anxiety-inducing.
I can imagine. The cat. This is the thing. I love these models. I want to do them real justice, but I want to get sort of blending and all sorts of stuff going on with it. So whether I wait until I'm a better painter in 37 years or something or not, but the models themselves are awesome. The only real trick was the caterpillar sitting on his mushroom.
There was a lot of pieces to that too.
Yeah, working out which arm goes where. I had to refer to the pictures a bit. Because, he's got, 6 arms holding various different things. And I haven't put the two halves of the base together because that's going to take a little bit of work to actually make it sit right. But everything else is together but separate. I haven't attached Alice to the mushroom. I haven't attached the Cheshire Cat to the base. I haven't attached the White Rabbit to his base either.
Have I shown you?
That's the head.
I mean,
that is large.
To give you a scale, like that's an Amazon.
Jesus. Yep. Okay. That's
so huge. I couldn't help it when I was printing the Alice models. I had a moment where I thought it would be brilliant and stupid and funny to do the head of the Cheshire Cat at like 250% scale.
And it's an impressive head too. Like it's a nightmarish type cat. The teeth go all the way into the ears.
Yeah. It's glorious. And I was thinking out loud, you could mount that to kind of like a trophy head,
Mhm.
trophy mount type thing
Yep.
on a wall. That would be ridiculous.
I like the way it's going. It's just a matter of what colors to do.
Yeah, I mean, do you go traditional? Do you mess with it?
I'm thinking of going the American McGee, the blue with the black tattoo type.
Yeah.
So, but we'll wait and see. I want to be confident in my painting before I even start those.
Is that a thing people are?
I want to be more confident than I am now, especially when I'm only getting various little bits and pieces done on the lizards.
Yeah.
The other thing I got is from one of our patrons, Archie. He handed me a model on Monday night, which he had put together, which is an impressive piece. I don't know if you've actually seen this.
I don't know if I have.
So 3D printed.
Yes.
3D printed Darth Vader. So
has he got a little battery in his
he's got a battery at the bottom, and the battery is attached via magnet. So if I've got nails, which I have less nails now than I did on Monday. Here we go.
It lights up.
The lightsaber lights up. The lightsaber is clear resin, and it's got a little red LED in it, and it's pretty.
That is clever.
Yeah. And then when you want it off, you just take the battery off and attach it back magnetically. And yeah, he was talking about these and talking about he's done like a Yoda and all sorts of things for his armies, for Legion. And he was talking about it, and then he just hands me Vader the following time we meet up, which is gorgeous of him. Thank you.
We do have some good Patreons.
We do.
We got some dodgy ones, but
we got some very dodgy ones, but we got some good ones. We got one or two.
There's a couple of good eggs in that.
So speaking of Darth Vader, I have finally gotten around and played Legion. Finally. And I ended up, Archie ran me through 2 demo games, one just me and him, one me against Alice. And for the amount of cards and text on those cards, and
there's a lot of stuff.
It's surprisingly simple. Like, I got very confused to the point that I was like, I'm just going to wait for somebody to show me this game because I've had an army for ages because Star Wars. And I did the majority of them up with, contrast paint. And they looked good. I was happy with them, but I hadn't played the game. And yeah, surprisingly easy to grasp and easy to understand. I kind of decimated poor Alice when I played her in the second game. Not expecting to. She was playing Luke, Leia, a couple of Tauntauns, and a whole heap of rebels against my 2 squads of stormtroopers, the Imperial Guards, Emperor Palpatine, and Bosk.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew from everything that Archie had been saying that once the Tauntauns get into close combat, they will decimate things, and they'll get there quite quickly. So I targeted them early with Bosk and managed to take them down before they hit anything. I was very worried about Luke and Leia, and I ran my Imperial Guard into Luke. They did 1 damage to him before they were all decimated.
Okay.
But then I managed to run the Emperor into Luke, and the Emperor, I'd played a card which allowed me to take damage with the Emperor to do another attack. And so I did that, and again, and again, and again, and basically the Emperor was on 1 life because I had used up all of his life doing more and more attacks, and took out Luke, and then shot Leia and walked away. It was not how I expected that game to go because Luke and Leia looked very scary to me. But the game itself, relatively straightforward to pick up.
Okay.
There's obviously tips and
There's
tricks
stuff,
and
right?
all
It's
sorts of stuff that you can do with.
there's learning to play the game, and then there's learning how to play the game. Like
Yes,
there's the mechanics, and then there's the strategy. But that's the
but the
same with any game.
mechanics fairly straightforward. So yeah, no, I was happy. Finally got a couple of games of that in, and got a message from Archie the other day saying, "Hey, Monday, you want to play again?" So he's always eager, which is good.
Yeah.
So I can get some more in.
We've got a couple of pushes. Like as I say, him and Legion.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Moose and Underworld. There's a few different games getting some traction.
Which is good.
I like
Let's
it.
get some variety going.
Yes. I mean, let's not neglect, but like Marvel again, I need to play that again.
Marvel, we need to play. I did get a couple of games of Marvel United in. So I went round to my mate Dan's place, just the other side of Ringwood. So a couple of hour drive away, but we got good 3 or 4 games of Marvel United in, and he has all of them, like all of the
Shit.
expansions. Like he went big on all of the Kickstarters. So we played some games with models that we don't have. So we played against Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen.
Yep.
We took out the first horseman.
Yeah, okay.
That was about it.
We do still totally need to do the Black Order at some point too. Speaking of things that we probably won't win, I'm so on
Yes.
board for that.
Well, we did Apocalypse first, followed that up with Sentinels, and the Sentinels was really fun. I really enjoyed that one. Managed to win on that one, and then the last game we played against the Sinister Six, we took out 3 or 4 of them, I think, before we eventually fell.
The
But it was just
two's not nowhere near as threatening, though. I mean, I feel
no,
like
true.
the world can live with that. We actually, I've almost forgot about this, but we did play some games. We played some Hero Quest, and we played the other one with the thing. So, I mean, without going through in grand detail, a cruisy night of just chilled games.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of reasonable peeps and myself.
And me, don't forget me.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you were there too. I mean, it was your house. You had to be there. Or did you?
Maybe not.
But that was the first time I played Hero Quest in many, many years. The app was surprisingly good.
Isn't it? It's really well done in that, there's not an awful lot you need to do. You play it as the players and then put that into the app, tell the app what you've done, and the app goes, here we go.
Yeah, and it tells you what to do with the bad guys, and you just do that, and then you all die.
Yeah.
That seems, I mean, that was my experience. No, we played it again, and it was better.
We didn't do well the first game.
The surprise for me, I think, was Night Cage. Was it Night Cage?
Yeah.
That was clever. I know you talked about it and you kind of ran us through how it worked and everything, but playing that, and I feel like we got a little bit screwed.
Yes.
It was hard.
It's not a very, what's the word? Circumstances can change very quickly in that game, which happened when we played it.
The thing I think I really appreciated about it is it's really simple mechanic-wise.
Yep.
It is very, like, there is an art style to it, but it's not graphic. It's a relatively simple concept with the art style and everything, but it gives you, like, the immersion it creates from the simplicity of it is actually really impressive. Like, you kind of feel alone in the dark.
Yeah.
Like, very clever. Good fun.
I think we did reasonably well. It was just, I think we were like 1 or 2 rounds shy of winning that.
Yeah. But yeah, there was some pretty tricksy scenarios we were thrown into, I think, with
Yes.
just when tiles were drawn and what they were and how it was. I think we made too many terrible decisions, but there was only so many things we could do. But no, I was really impressed. That was a sleeper. Like, I know you said it was good, but I didn't know it was good. Good.
Yeah, apparently there's been some, I don't know what, TikToks or whatever the youth of today are doing, but on Night Cage, so it's been getting some traction.
Yeah. I mean, if it's reached the TikToks, then it must be talkable.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure what I know that the Twitter is a tweet, but I don't know what a
tick is a talk.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know.
I used to know what it was, and they changed what it was, and now it is new and scary. Anyway,
Bring back Tom. Where did Tom go?
I used to have a friend.
He was everybody's friend.
He was the friendliest
Whatever
guy.
happened to Tom? I mean, I know he sold off MySpace and made a bucket load of money and then decided to retire or whatever, but I miss Tom.
Good on him.
I miss MySpace.
I remember seeing a thing where it was like, I don't know whether it was a Twitter page or something. It's like, but imagine if, when someone landed on your Twitter page, they could hear your favorite song, and I'm like,
it's been done.
We're coming full circle. You just described MySpace. That was a terrible idea then.
I used to love it. I used to have the trailer for 300 going with the 9 Inch Nails song blaring.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to games. Blood Bowl, we wrapped up 7s.
We did.
Yep. I came 6th, which surprised me. I actually scored decently with Nurgle, more than I thought I would, and had a couple of 2-1, 2-0 wins, I think. So
yeah, you did surprisingly well offensively on the scoreboard with Nurgle. That was unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of lucky breaks and lucky touchdowns, but at the same time, definitely scored more than I thought I would be.
Absolutely. Just like real life.
No, not really.
You have high expectations. I think
real life, I score a lot less than I expect to.
I think I came a couple of points, maybe 8th or something. I think.
Yep.
Under there. So I mean, it was funny because I think we had the bye round to get played. So anyone, because we had no number of players, anyone who had a bye, we basically matched them up in the week before finals kicked off. So everyone had the same number of games rather than giving them a default win or something for taking a bye. So everyone got to play all the games. But I think both of us were sitting in the top 4 before that.
Yes.
And then both of us were definitely not in the top 4 after that.
No. The two of the guys with buys, Mark and Mark. Yelvin and Mark both ended up 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
Thank God I watched their semi, and it was a hell of a game. It was just a bash fest. It was Chaos Dwarf against Chaos Chosen, and the Chosen just annihilated the Dwarves. The Dwarves were left with 3 people when they went into overtime. Still 0-0 against 7 on the Chaos Chosen side.
So,
and yet amazing plays.
So and let's call it. So right before, so we're currently sitting at like a 1-1 or a 0, whatever the hell it was before 0-0 to go into overtime. Mark Yelv the ball was in sort of his offensive half, right near the touchdown line. He had to blitz a model off at marking the ball, pick it up, and he was in. Yep. So, and he had a 2-dice blitz happening, I'm pretty sure, and then it was a 3+ pickup, and he had that as a 1-0 win. Rolled the blitz, both down, and that's how they ended up in overtime.
I think Yell failed to pick up the ball twice as well. Like his dice were on fire, and he was like, there were no centaurs left on the field. Uh, he was injuring people left, right, and center. His dice were on absolute fire until they weren't.
Yeah.
And then they stopped. They stopped dead.
So they go into overtime, 0-0. Mark with 3 players on the pitch. So the Chaos Dwarf, 3 players, a Minotaur and 2 Hobgoblins.
No, I
No.
think it was the dwarf.
Or maybe it was a Dwarf, yeah. So
Dwarf,
Minotaur,
the hobgoblin, and the minotaur.
which he wins the toss. He chooses to receive, probably the fair call.
Absolutely.
And I looked at this and went, well, this is a surefire thing. I went and watched the other game, which we'll get to in a second. I come back and somehow he has grabbed the ball with a hobgoblin. He's pushed halfway up the field. He's managed a handoff to the Minotaur. And the Minotaur has blitzed forward to get into scoring zone. Yelv has then managed, I think it was, I can't remember if it was a 1 or a 2 die blitz on the Minotaur to try and, because he's, almost on the sideline here. And again, just didn't make it happen. It's just the dice don't work.
It was pretty interesting because I was looking at it and Mark blitzed the Minotaur up to knock a guy down and clear a bit away for his hobgoblin with the ball, and then he's like, maybe I'll just pass it to the Minotaur. I'm like, oh my god. he had a re-roll from the kickoff, I think, too. So wandered up with the hobgoblin, handed it to the Minotaur, 50-50 chance, paid off, didn't need the re-roll. And then I think Yelv only had one guy who could reach the Minotaur.
Yep.
And it was a 2 dice uphill block, which didn't pay off.
No, it just...
I think, it ended up...
it ended up as a push.
Yeah.
It ended up with a push, and then the Minotaur just blitzed him out the way and did his thing and ended up running the ball down for the touchdown to make it 1-0. And with 3 players in overtime, somehow the Chaos Dwarves managed to get up that game.
That was a game. That was a real game.
The other side of the fence. So that was a Snotling human match with Liam and Pip. And it was fine. I think it was a 1-1, going in at halftime. And then sweltering heat.
Yep.
The humans dropped 3 players to sweltering heat. The Snotlings lost to Snotling, but who cares? And then the kickoff was a Vicious Ref or whatever it is, who took out a 4th human player. One of those was the ogre.
Oh, no.
So at this point in time, the humans had 3 players, and they did not do.
Snotlings had 30.
And they had a billion players. And the pump wagon did not fail a bloody, really stupid roll. And, Pip did everything he possibly could, but it was just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, that was a real nuffle kick in the nuts. And, Liam just took it as you would. It was, up until that point, it was a really tight game. It was glorious to watch, sort of backwards and forwards, and both of them kind of scrambling at times. So I think, and then the grand final happened, and that was the thing.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing.
That was fucking savage. That was not a game. So. For those playing at home, a real quick summary here is Mark had been kicked in the balls by life and basically work. And he's like, this game the semi-final went into overtime.
Both semi-finals.
Went into, I am not going to be able to stay and play another game. And also, I am working overtime for the next fortnight and will not get a chance to play a game again. Frankly, I didn't expect to get this far. Somebody just take my team and play it. Regards. And was happy as Larry to say that basically he didn't lose a game.
Who did lose a game with that team?
I fixed that good and proper. So I played the Chaos Dwarves against the Snotlings in the grand final on Mark's behalf as kind of, his second, I guess. What is that old dueling term? Anyway, because he said, look, I'm just not going to get a chance to play any time in the foreseeable future, and we want to kick on with another season, so let's just move on. And he was fine with it. We tried to organize and sort of at another time, and he's just like, nah, this is too hard. We are not playing for sheep stations. Let's not panic. Just play it and see who wins. Holy shit. So Chaos Dwarves, full Chaos Dwarf team against Snotlings. So I received first half. We got a pitch invasion. The three of my players closest to the ball all got stunned.
Yeah.
Which basically means I had to swing the entire team around to cover the ball, which is sitting on one extreme sideline. Liam gets a free pass basically to move his team halfway up the pitch and put some pressure on. We fail to pick up the ball. He moves closer. The Minotaur has an opportunity to surf a troll at this point in time.
Okay, yep.
It's a 2 dice into a 1 dice, which I thought was a 2 dice, but it turned out it was a 1 dice, to push a troll off the pitch, clear him off the ball, and give me a way to turn this around and actually play an offensive half. The Minotaur skulls himself down. That didn't happen. Yeah.
On the 2 dice or the 1 dice?
On the 1 dice, I think. Okay. Yeah, must have been. Yep. Manages a push for the first one. Skulls the second one. Here we are. Then, so he's fine. He's down, but he's not out. The Chaos Dwarf was marking the pump wagon, which proceeded to kill the Chaos Dwarf. Liam then proceeded, quite rightly, to foul the Minotaur at every possible opportunity. And I had 3 players left on the pitch at halftime.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So along this time, so this is my receiving half. I was, playing offense. Liam scored defensively in that half. I show up with, 3 players on the pitch for the second half. And the only reason Liam didn't win 2-0 and only won 1-0 was because the final player I had on the pitch was a Bull Centaur. The Bull Centaur had to pull some stupid thing out to blitz a ball carrier to try and pull the score back a little bit. So we tried that. He failed a dodge that he was definitely going to fail always and ended up on the ground. So in Liam's final turn, within scoring range, his entire team surrounded the Bull Centaur. Literally had 9 players around the Bull Centaur.
Yep.
8 players around the Bull Centaur. Anyway, all of the players. When he said, so to break your armor, the only thing I need to do is not roll a double 1.
Why did he say that?
And that's when he rolled a double 1, and he didn't break the Bull Centaur's armor, and he got sent off. And the turnover, because this was his turn 12, meant that he couldn't score and get a 2-0 victory.
Yeah.
But that was the last player, and he was like, nah, I've already won. I'm going to try and pitch clear this.
Yeah, quite rightly. So I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. So it wasn't a game. I lost a couple of players really early. I had like 3 in the cash box by turn 3
Mhm.
on my offensive half. And it was just downhill from there. So Liam did all of the right things with the Snotlings and took out the season. Massive congrats. As I said, he plays a solid game at the best of times. Those 2 semi-final games, though, were absolute crack. They were everything Blood Bowl should be.
Yeah,
It was
they were
glorious.
great to watch. And if you're in the Geelong area, we are going to be starting up the next season, probably late June, I would say.
Yep.
We're taking sign-ups now. All the details are on Discord or on our website, thoughtlesscasualgaming.com. All those details are there. So if you're interested, by all means, or if you want to hit us up for a game beforehand just to try it out, see what it's like.
Yeah.
Always happy for that.
And let's be clear, we had people playing last season that had never played before. And, we had a couple of games with us beforehand and just cracked on, and everybody had a blast. So they had a blast because I said so. No, but, I think, we sat at 20-something people-ish.
Yep. 24 dropped down to 23.
Yeah. Which is fair.
No,
Life
23
happens.
dropped down to 22, I think.
Either way, life happens.
One of the two.
So, something similar would be good. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be lots of fun. There's just so many people just there to have absolute shits and gigs, which is glorious. And in the meantime, just for something completely different, we're playing some Blood Bowl. But 11's like full scale big boy Blood Bowl.
It's a different game.
It is such a different, it's the same game.
No, it's not. It's different.
I mean, there are
it's still Blood Bowl.
differences. Yes. There are differences, but I think it's super interesting coming from 7s back to 11s.
Yeah.
It's fun. You can see why some people would choose it over 7s, I guess. It reinforces why I play 7s. But it's glorious. It's like going back to your roots and then realizing your roots are kind of really hard on the brain. I feel like, yeah,
it's a brain scratcher for sure. Look, we just wanted a short league. There were only a couple of people that wanted to sort of dedicate to 11s. We ended up with 7 people in the end. So I was like, well, I guess I'm playing as well. I didn't have plans, to be quite honest. I was hoping to get a few games of other things like Underworlds or something like that in. But with the odd number, it just made life easier on a organizational point to jump in. So I thought, fuck it. I haven't played Norse. Let's play Norse. So I made up a little team called Norse Code. All my players.
I did notice the player names.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't translated the player names.
They're all very basic. I had to make them really short names because otherwise it just becomes an endless list of dots and dashes for each player name. So, for example, the beer boar, his name is Pig.
Okay.
But in Morse code.
Yes.
So, yes. And then people ask me, like, the following day, oh, what's this one? I'm like, I don't know. I can't remember.
Chuck it in Google Translate. Work it out.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was fun. Definitely, I was playing Yelv. He rightly beat me 3-1. But yeah, it's a different sort of game. Like, there's more tactics that I need to remember how to use properly. But I mean, the fact that I'm using a team I don't know anyway it's not in my favor.
And
I won't be using Norse for 11s.
No, and I did the same. I wanted to pick a team that I wasn't using, but I decided to also go with a team that had more positionals that you can normally take in 7s because, let's just break my brain a little bit harder. So I took Underworld, and you just take all of the positions and do some things, and it's a noodle scratcher. Fun, butt noodle scratching. I played Ant, who's playing humans.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up with a 3-all draw.
That's big. It's a high scoring game. Well, it seems like a high scoring game coming from sevens,
Well,
doesn't it?
but it's funny because both of us coming from sevens got to half time and went, shit, we've got to do that again. Like, we are not match fit.
Yes, I know. I had the same thought. I'm just having a quick look. Who are you playing next? Have you looked?
I have, and then I forgot. I am playing Liam.
Liam. Yep, and Liam is playing
High Elves.
High Elves. Yep. Okay.
So he
that should be
played
interesting.
Josh's team last, and apparently the Elves just imploded. They just didn't do any of the things that they should have done.
Yeah,
But
no, that's pretty much what happened with the Norse too. No, the Elves dice were on absolute fire. Like I think I'm 3 people down for the next game,
that is a little bit harsh.
which is against Alice's Necro. So it should be interesting.
I am a clan rat and a snotling down. So the snotling gets fired and rehired. Well, maybe the clan rat does too. We'll see.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Plenty of stuff going on. Plenty of games going on. Not just Blood Bowl. You know,
No.
Moose and his Underworlds is going to be a consistent thing. So we had James and Kimberly join the Discord and jump into a game with him on Monday night, which was great to see. So if you're interested in anything, you want to play some games, we are definitely up for it.
Pretty
Jump into
much
Discord.
whatever. Yeah. There's stuff.
Just quickly before we wrap up, I'm going to go through what's going on at the moment. And we do have Thoughtless Bowl 4. We've got 3 tickets left. That is 17th of June, so about a month away. Plenty of time to get your sevens team ready. It'll be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of shit to give away and all sorts of fun and games that'll be going on. Then the other thing to mention is we have a quick competition. If you're interested in playing in this sevens league or Thoughtless Bowl 4, we've currently got a competition for a Blood Bowl team of your choice from GW. Nice and easy. Just like the post on Facebook, tag somebody, and win that.
Yep,
Or
they
not
are
win it,
the steps.
depending on how the wheel goes.
No, if you want the team, they are the steps you need to do. Like it,
Yes.
tag a friend, win it.
Yes.
Do those 3 things, you will get a team.
2 of those are totally in your control. Nice and easy. But adding on to that, we do have a painting event.
We do.
Which I still need to work out what I'm doing. But
I started looking today.
I noticed your ideas.
My indecision has already cracked on. So after 2 instances of painting it pink, we're doing something different. We're going to flip it. We're going to paint it brown.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies, right? Paint something. I don't care fucking what. It could be a house. Show a picture of the thing you're going to paint unpainted, and then show a picture of it painted. And we are going to formally gush over everything and then pick someone who most creatively used brown as their feature color. Do something cool.
This is going to be an interesting one.
I'm so curious, right? Because I feel like you say paint it brown and everybody goes, I know things that are brown. And we're going to, Nurgle is going to be a thing. And, there's going to be a lot of those. But I'm curious to see what creative, like what leftist and shit people come out with.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Like there's options. There's so many options.
And it's like, it's one of those things that the more I think about it, as much as we were taking the piss when we came up with the concept, like I'm looking at every single model I've ever painted and all of them have
brown.
Probably all of them. He says, going, maybe not. But there's
majority.
Most shit has brown on it, but very rarely do you go, this is the color I want a hero. It's kind of the bits and shits filler. Yep. So I'm really curious to see how people take that and just do wild and wacky shit.
Yeah. No, very, very excited. Jump on Facebook or the Discord, get some information on that. It's not a painting competition, so as always, we will go through the results at the end and we will give prizes where we consider prizes due. Not for the best painted, but for the most creative and the ones that tickle our browns.
It's not hard, really.
No, anyone can do that.
Yeah. Just wash your hands.
Afterwards, yeah.
I mean, preferably before as well.
I'm not fussy.
It depends. Like, are we talking something gritty or are we talking just...
Anyway, give us a follow. Facebook, Spotify, Podbean, Twitch, OnlyFans, Audible. I noticed we were on that the other day.
Are we on that?
Yeah.
Shit.
I know, right? I know. I have mentioned it before, but for giveaways, Patreons get extra entries. So if you want to throw some cash our way to help us do these giveaways, Patreons, as well as Twitch subscribers and OnlyFans subscribers, if you're silly enough to be one of those, they will get extra entries as well. As always, thank you very much to our Thoughtless Patreons, the highest of the high, but also the lowest of the low. Alice, Clinton, Kingsley, thank you.
You are both of
3.
those things at once.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
We're on iHeartRadio too.
Okay.
There you
Sure.
go. Other things I didn't realize. Well, I'm looking at other platforms we could be on. Anyhow.
Are there any other platforms?
I mean, probably, but I'm not going to actively do it. If they happen to pick up an RSS feed, good on them.
Yeah, cool. I'm not going to TikTok anytime soon.
No. I only realized how much it had been since I painted stuff back on the hobby thing because I actually looked at my painting Instagram account and realized how long it had been since I posted something.
Yeah, I should get onto that. Yeah. On that note, laters.
Gotcha.
Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless